Greetings, dear ones. Father Peter John, coming to you from All Saints on South Fairfax Road in Bloomington, Indiana. Christ is risen. I hope and pray all of you are well. I wanted to talk today about David and Goliath. It's a great story. 1 Samuel chapter 17. It's a daunting story. All of us in America seem to enjoy a good superhero story, right? Captain America or Iron Man. I especially like Captain America because he's just, he's so kind of innocent in his presentation, and yet he's so selfless. He'll put his life on the line to save others. He's truly heroic. I don't know. I probably watched that movie 20 or 30 times at least, maybe more. But the fact is that there's something within us that truly desires to have something of a hero. Not only a hero in our midst, but also to have a heroic spirit. We resonate well with that. And the story of David and Goliath speaks to that part of us that wants to be heroic, that wants to be victorious, that wants to be on the side of those who are winning. David was just a shepherd boy. He's the youngest of the 8 sons of Jesse, and he was anointed king of Jerusalem, of Israel, at a young age. The Spirit of the Lord, when he was anointed by the prophet Samuel, came upon him, and the king who was in place, Saul, he had some trouble, and the Spirit of the Lord departed from him when David was anointed. But without getting into too many details of that, because I want you to read it for yourself, there came a day when David was serving as a shepherd in the field. His oldest 3 brothers were in the Israeli army, and they were encamped on a mountainside. There was a valley, and then on the other mountainside was the army of the Philistines. And the largest member of the army of the Philistines, who had been a warrior from his youth, his name was Goliath. He was over 9 feet tall. He was terrifying and incredibly strong beyond imagination. And all of the details are given in the story. I won't give them to you now because I want you to read it. And so David's father, Jesse, said, "Take these things and go out to the front lines and find your brothers and see how they're doing and bring back word to me." So David went and he found his brothers, and as this was happening, Goliath was taunting the army of Israel. He's standing down in the valley and he's just yelling at them and he's taunting them. "Send out one of your best, come on, bring them on." He's just kind of taunting, right? He'd been doing this for 40 days, taunting the Israeli army. And they're all suited up, they're ready to go into battle, and they are not happy that they're going to have to face Goliath. Well, long story short, David starts talking to his older brother, and I love what he says. It's absolutely precious. He says his oldest brother is kind of taunting him a little bit, making fun of him that the shepherd boy has come out, now to face to basically to view the battle from the sidelines. So he's kind of making fun of him a little bit. And David hears about Goliath. And he says, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine?" That means he's not part of the covenant with God. "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" It's powerful. Who does this guy think he is? I don't care if he's 15 feet tall. Who does he think he is to defy the armies of the living God? That's what the shepherd boy David said. So word gets back to Saul that David is basically talking boldly. And so Saul calls him to himself, and Saul hears him out, and Saul gives him his armor. He puts on his armor and gives him a sword and gets him all set to go to battle with Goliath. And David takes a step and realizes he can't walk. He's too small. He can't walk in this armor. He says, "I can't do this." So he goes, he takes off all of the armor. He gets 5 little stones and puts them in his shepherd's bag. And he goes out to the front line where Goliath is there waiting to meet him. And then he says to Goliath he's talking smack. Goliath is talking bad, and just basically trying to scare David. And David says to Goliath, "You come to me with a sword, with a spear, and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, who you have defied. So a battle ensues between David and Goliath. As Goliath starts coming toward David, David takes off running toward Goliath. It's glorious. As he's running, he pulls out a little stone, puts it in his sling, lets it fly, hits Goliath right in the forehead, knocks him dead to the ground. So, brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter what kind of a beast we face, what kind of a daunting monster, whether it's a virus, whether it's a life situation, whether it's the passions of the flesh. Whatever it is that is our Goliath, that is out there talking down to us, speaking to our heart and trying to instill fear in us and anxiety, trying to put us down, make us feel small. If we work for God, the Lord of hosts, there is no army, there is no force, there is no illness, there is nothing that can stand against us to destroy us. And I'm just not talking about the health and wealth gospel. Hey, believe on Jesus and you're going to be rich. That's not what I'm talking about. I am saying that we are made in the image and likeness of the living God. And what we have is an immeasurable gift. And it cannot be taken away from us because God has given it. So my prayer is that you and I and our loved ones will be emboldened, not frightened, not anxious, not fearful, never cowering, never backing down, but emboldened and courageous to stand with God in whatever he calls us to face. Because Christ is risen from the dead, trampling down death by death, and upon those in the tombs bestowing life. Amen.